Hello guys, my name is Franklin Hung, and today I'm going to be talking about the API Freshwater Master Test Kit. In this video, I'll be talking about my experience with the test kit, and as well as sharing some tips and tricks I've come across, or things that would just help make your test experience more easy. These tips will help you test your water not only more accurately, but also more quickly. So, first thing out of the box, you get their instruction manual. And on the back is their color chart. The color chart will be used after you're done testing your water. You can compare the color of the results with these color codes, and they will tell you how much of each of these water testing parameters you have, how much of each thing you have. Right out the box, you also get regular pH, which is good for most community fish, high range pH, which is usually for people who keep African cichlids, stuff like that. Ammonia has 2 bottles. I'll explain why there's 2 bottles later. Nitrates, along with 4 glass test tubes and their caps. And their caps actually do leak when you're shaking them, so I'll cover that later too. Now it's time to go fill up all of our test tubes with 5 milliliters of water. Okay, so now we're going to fill our test tubes with 5 milliliters of water. This trick actually involves using a hang on a back filter, so if you use one, you're in luck. First thing I'm going to do is turn the water down to this minimum. And then I'm going to take the test tube, and you want to fill it up to this line, right? So we're going to put test tube up to the, let's do this in such a way you can see it, to the side of where the water's coming down. And just keep on filling it until it reaches the 5 milliliter mark. There we go. And we're going to do that again. Okay, so you can tell here, or you can see here that there's a meniscus, and right there, the bottom part of the water is actually not on the line. So some people suggest using a syringe, and that works, and you're gonna have to use one if you don't have a hang on the back filter. Or what I like to do is I just dip one test tube into the water, and there's a little drop here, and I would just drop that in to the test tube, other test tube, and keep on doing that until the bottom of the meniscus reads right with the line. And so in this case, I got it. So we'll do that again. Dip a test tube into the water, and drop that water into the other test tube, and keep on doing that until the bottom of the meniscus is on the 5 milliliter line. And in this case, it is. And don't forget to fill up the rest of the tubes, and then turn back on your filter. Okay, so this was this meniscus thing I was talking about. That bottom part right there should be right on the white line. And it's very important that you make sure that the water into your test tube is exactly 5 milliliters. Because this would ensure that you get accurate results, and you don't want to have inaccurate results and think that you don't have as much ammonia as you have or something, and then your fish die. So just make sure that the bottom of the meniscus lines up with this, with the 5 milliliter mark on the test tube. And like I said again, you could use that drop method where you take another test tube, dip it into the water, and then you can take that little drop of water that's hanging off of it and just like gently tap it in. Keep on doing that until it reaches the meniscus. That's what I've done with these other 3 test tubes, and you'll be set. Okay, so now that you've filled up all your test tubes with 5 milliliters of water, the first test that we're going to do is the ammonia test. So for the ammonia test, there's 2 bottles. In the first bottle, you want to shake both of the bottles. So let's go ahead and shake them now. Make sure that you mix up the contents inside, because you want the most accurate results. Okay, so there's 2 bottles. The first bottle they're clearly labeled bottle 1, bottle 2. The first bottle is actually a little lighter in yellow color, so that'll help you. Let me put these to the side. So we're going to take one of our test tubes of water, and we're going to go ahead and follow the directions and drop 8 drops of this liquid into here. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So one of the things you want to make sure that you do is hold the bottle completely vertically up and down, because this will ensure that all the drops that come out of the bottle are uniform in size, which is also very important for the accuracy of the results. So I'm going to screw that back on, put it onto the side, and now we're going to take our cap, we're going to put it on to our test tube, and we're just going to give it a couple, inverts. We want to make sure that we shake the contents on the inside. Now I'm just going to flick the top of the cap, because sometimes there's a little bit of water or a little bit of the solution that sticks up there. We want it to come all the way down. And now I'm going to take this off. Now we're going to shake our second bottle. And we're also going to put 5 drops into here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And sorry, I meant 8 drops if I said 5. Yeah. You want 8 drops from the second solution. I'll put that off to the side, and now we're going to recap it, and we're going to shake it. Just shake it for about 5 seconds. Okay. Flip the top, let all the contents come back down, and we're going to put that off to the side. Okay, so now that we've left the ammonia test tube onto the side, we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes for the color to completely develop. And so now we're going to go ahead and test our nitrites. So here's our nitrite solution. We have our 5 milliliters of water, and we're going to shake this. Give a good shake. I want to make sure the solution's completely mixed before we use it. And now we're going to drop 5 drops of the nitrite solution into our bottle. Test tube, sorry. So 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cap that. And a cap our test tube. And we're going to give it a couple shakes, inverts. Shake it for about 5 seconds. Again, give it a little flick and put it onto the side. That's also going to require, oops, it's leaking. Yeah, like I said, these caps don't fully go on they're not watertight, so sometimes when I shake it, I like to take a paper towel, so, won't go all over the place, because these chemicals, in theory, you shouldn't be touching. They're not good for your hands. Probably should be using gloves. Okay, so we're going to put that off to the side, let it sit for 5 minutes. And now we're going to test our nitrates. Again, this one has bottle 1, bottle 2. Bottle 1 is actually the dark one for this one. Now we're going to go ahead and shake both of these. We'll shake the second one later. We're going to shake this first one. And this is the one that really requires the good shaking, because as evident, or as shown in the instruction manual, you should really shake these up. So here's the nitrate one. This is bottle 1. Put 10 drops of the solution in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Cap this up, put it onto the side. And we're going to cap our test tube. Invert it a couple times so we can thoroughly mix the mixture. Give it a little shake. Really make sure it's mixed. This is very important for the accuracy of the results. Give it a couple flicks. You see all that solution coming down, and actually it's leaking again. Oh no. Okay. Now take the cap off. Okay. So here we're going to want to shake our second bottle for at least 30 seconds. Because this is very important. 3, 4, 5, 30. So that's been 30 seconds. I'll cap it. And now we're also going to put 10 drops into this solution. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Go ahead and cap our bottle. Set this one off to the side. Recap our test tube. And for this one, actually, I'm just going to use this paper towel here. I'm going to hold it like this. And now you want to shake this vigorously for 1 minute. So 1, 2, 3, 58, 59, 60. Okay. So wow, there's a lot of solution that leaked out in the process of that. I'm going to set this off to the side, let it sit for also 5 minutes. Oh no. Wow, so see, our nitrite solution actually, when I was mixing it, a lot of it leaked out, so I don't know. Like I said, these caps aren't fully leak proof. You can tell there's lots of liquid on this. That's why you use a paper towel. Lots of the solution. Anyways, so lastly, we're going to test our pH. Actually, I have pretty high pH here. My tap water is actually 8.2, so I'm going to go ahead and use the high range pH. But if your tap water, or when you test it, if you need to use the low pH, or I would recommend starting off with the regular pH test bottle. You just, put 3 drops in, shake it, and invert the bottle a couple times, and just read the color. But if you are getting 7.6 on the regular pH bottle, I would definitely suggest going ahead and using the high range pH, because 7.6 is the maximum for this bottle. So it could be, your range could very well be in the high range pH. So I already know, in this case, that my water is very non-acidic. It's not acidic here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 5 drops of the high range pH solution. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 drops of the high range pH. And like I said, if you're using the regular pH, you only need 3 drops, but I'm using high range pH. Cap or test tube, invert it a couple times. And we'll just set it aside and give it a couple of minutes to develop. I would say about 60 seconds. Okay, now that the solution is adequately mixed, do our flicking and put that off to the side to develop. So we'll be back in 5 minutes after these 3 test tubes have fully developed, along with our pH. Okay, so now it's been 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take our color chart, and I'm going to take our first bottle, which is ammonia, and it's reading at, let me see, 0.25 parts per million. Actually, it's been doing this. It always does this. I'm not really sure why. I think I've never had trouble with ammonia, but it's been testing 0.25 for about the past month, ever since I got my kit. I've actually never had this problem with previous kits. Maybe it was just my kit's dead or something for the ammonia, but it's always been testing at 0.25. Not worried about it because our nitrites are clearly 0 because it's blue. Yeah, I've also actually tested my, I've tested distilled water, vapor distilled water, and it's also testing it at 0.25 parts per million of ammonia, so I'm not really sure why. But like I said, I'm not too worried about it. My beneficial bacteria are obviously doing their job because our nitrites are at 0. So now it's time to do our nitrates. So here's the nitrates. And it looks like we have 5 parts per million. Not surprised, I just did a water change half a week ago. And I have a lot of plants in my tank, so it's good. And our pH. pH showing, oh no, what would I say that? What is that? I would say that's about 8.2. Excuse me. In between 8.2, 8.0, I would say 8.1. That's for our pH. So, testing your water, I would definitely recommend testing water at least once a week. It's very important. Really, the main ones are ammonia, nitrite, and nitrates. There's also other things like GH, KH. They're not included in this test kit. I'll do a review on those later. and also, you know, phosphorus levels, copper, stuff like that, calcium if you're doing salt water. Just in general, you really want to make sure that you keep ammonia and nitrites at 0 parts per million. And I'll do a video over the nitrogen cycle later. This will all make sense then. Your nitrates, if you have a planted aquarium, plants will help keep it down. So, and the only way to really get down your nitrates is number 1, plants, and number 2, doing water change, your regular water changes, once a week, maybe once every other week, depending on how established and heavily stocked your tank is. So yeah, ideally your nitrate shouldn't really go above 40 parts per million. I like to keep mine around 20 parts per million, and then do a water change. pH really depends on your fish, so yeah. Okay guys, that wraps up my tutorial and review over this freshwater master test kit. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment, and subscribe. This is my first YouTube channel, and I am a high schooler, so I'm really looking into sharing my experiences with my fish tank with you guys. So if you really liked the video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and thank you for watching.